Folks, we are so lucky at One Rental at a Time. We have the one and only Brian Adamson coming back weekly now as another millionaire joining the weekly cadence at One Rental at a Time. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. Excuse me. I'm doing great, Mike. I appreciate you having me, man. And I look forward to being able to come in regularly and pour into your community.
Yeah, you've been serving some spot duty over the years, which I greatly appreciate. You did a deep dive for my students on out of state investing with Millennial Mike, probably I don't know what 4 or 5 months ago, which people love. So I appreciate that. And raising your hand, saying, "Mike, I'm game to do this weekly with you," is, dude, so awesome. So thank you for that. You ready for our first topic?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
So one of the things that I think both of us are seeing, because we've been in the game in a while, we both have had, you know, I'll call it success, is we help a lot of new people get started. And I think you termed it investor fatigue. I call it investor frustration. I think it's the same thing or similar. In
Mhm.
that they're like, Michael, I've been doing the work. Like this hat says for this is really funny. I had one guy one time tell me, I've been doing the work for 10 days and I'm not seeing any deals. And I'm like, get back to me when it's 10 weeks or 10 months or 10 years. 10 days? Are you kidding me? But anyways, I digress because that was really funny. But I think we both see people like, I've been doing this for 6 months, 8 months, and I'm not seeing the deals. And worse, some of them are like, okay, I got to buy something. Let me just tell you right now, you never got to buy something. But what
Amen.
are you seeing in your community now with investor fatigue? Because it's real.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it two different ways, right? One being exactly what you just intimated, where students come in for whatever reason they think that they should have success based on a certain time interval that they've established for themselves. And I think it's good to kind of have ambition, but then there needs to be this realistic understanding of number one, to your point, Mike, getting into your buy box, right? Like really honing into your market, getting into your buy box and understanding based on that buy box, how many deals do I even need to look at to submit enough offers to have one accepted? Even having one accepted, how many of those do I need to get in before I can get one that actually makes sense, right?
Yeah.
And so, it's all math, as you and I both know. You even more than me, you get into the analytics heavily, which I appreciate. And so it's just important to, number one, understand that piece. What's the input output? And then more importantly, to never default into a deal, right? Fastest way to lose money is defaulting into a deal. And so, I think that's critical. The other side of that I've seen though, I recently talked to a couple of my students and they pivoted and went into, they're in the Miami area, but they went into the Ohio market and
Okay.
they were harping on how they couldn't find good deals in this particular market. Now they sat there for probably 3 months, and initially I thought that they just needed to run the reps.
Hmm.
But as I started to dig into it more, the agent was sending them 1,000 deals a day to look at, right? So the agent wasn't respecting their buy box. They weren't holding the agent accountable, so they were just trying to go along and get along. So they're wasting their time every day. Is
Oh,
essentially what's
yeah.
happening, right? And coupled with that, they were a little bit afraid of what do we do when we get the offer accepted?
I wanted, but oh my God, I caught it like a dog chasing a
Absolutely,
car.
absolutely. And so what happened was they were actually procrastinating in the form of looking like they were doing the work,
Oh, they were being busy, but not really doing anything.
being busy but not effective.
Oh, I love that. Wow. Yeah. I want to be very clear with people that follow me on my channel. What I teach, what I talk about, buy box, daily discipline, learn, average, only do great deals. What I talk about is the only thing I could do for you is help you know average. What is an average deal in my buy box? I cannot and will not promise a deal because it's hard. When I talk about taking 1,000 swings and maybe getting it, that's just how it happens sometimes.
For sure.
Average deals are everywhere. Bad deals are everywhere. Good and great deals are hard, Brian.
Yeah,
They're
they
just
are.
hard.
They are.
And people in this instant gratification microwave society, they think if they do something for 10 days, like in my earlier example, it should show up. That's not how it works, right?
It's the hard, easy aspect. I was telling my daughter this the other day. If it's hard up front, your life will probably be easier in result of getting on the other side of it. If it's easy up front, the pain is coming. The pain is coming, right? Like, believe it, bet on it, double down. The pain is coming. So do the hard work up front. Your life will become easier. I tell my students all the time, I get people that send me portfolios every week. I have more deals to look at than I have time to look at them. And It's because I did all the hard work up front to now make my life a little bit easier. So don't abort the process. Don't omit the steps. Like, just go do the work.
Yeah. The one thing I want to tell people following this is I think a lot of people, Brian, are anchored on getting a deal. Hence the rush to, the only way I can be in the game is to be in the game, right? I got to buy one. I got to own something. And I've actually heard people say this, Brian. I know I'm going to lose money on this, but at least I'm in the game.
Jesus Christ.
What are we doing? So this is what I'm always trying to pivot people, right? Just to refocus them. I want you to consider this a win. So tell me what you think. If you write a great offer, I want you to document, I want you to celebrate that. So let's define what that is. Mm-hmm. The price point doesn't matter. In your buy box, an average deal yields a cash-on-cash return of 8%. I'm just making this up. If you write a deal that you believe will produce a 10% cash-on-cash return, in my world, that would be considered a great deal. I want you to celebrate that. I want you to go out to dinner. I want you to take a picture. I want you to celebrate that, because that is the only thing you can control. You can't control if the buyer or seller says yes. You can't control what the inspections will say. You can do the work up front to learn 8 and write 10. Let's celebrate that. What do you think?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have to celebrate the incremental wins in which we have control over.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
When I hear students say, like, I don't know where I'm gonna get the money, I'm like, that's technically not your problem, right?
Yes.
Because a good deal will always find the money, and we have to have some faith in that if we do our part, he's gonna do his part. And if we operate under that auspice, then I found it to be very successful in my life. But the truth is, you're trying to have half-baked conversations with potential investors without even putting any kind of payoff in front of them, right? Because you don't even have a deal.
Yeah, you're creating excuses. You're
100%.
You're trying to bake chocolate chip cookies, and you're whatever. You're not including all the ingredients. You're not doing the work.
That's right.
Follow the recipe.
That's right.
Right.
Always find a good deal, and the money will always find you. I'm just a firm believer in that.
Yeah, I will have one small correction, because I want to say great deals. Great deals. Bad, average, good, great. And the reason I want to make that slight variance, because if you go back and watch my channel, in 2020 and 2021, we were doing good and great deals because the market was bonkers, right? Things were going here. So good was acceptable. I've told everybody at the beginning or end of 2021, we no longer do good. So just to keep my story straight, we only do great. What's the difference? About 1 to 1.5 percentage points. We're only doing great deals, Brian. Sorry, bud.
Got it. No, I'm aligned with that. And I think for most investors, I think good and great becomes relative, right?
Exactly. Yes.
If you manage a hedge fund, a great deal is 6%, right? If you're one of us, right, and you got it out the mud, probably 12-15% is a great deal.
Exactly.
And so,
right.
Good and great is relative, but the point is, bad deals are bad deals, and nobody should be doing those. If it doesn't cash flow, don't buy it. Period.
Oh, if it's got a negative sign in front of it, don't buy it. Let's get that out. If it's an alligator, we're not buying those. And again, the reason I really stress on average is even you and I, we can't do every deal. Mm-hmm. Frankly, don't want to do every deal.
Yes, sir.
I only want to do great deals, and I'll do all the great deals I can, but average is easy. You don't earn financial freedom early doing average deals. That's what I believe.
I love that, Mike. That's big. It becomes such a volume play at that point, right? And the more volume you do, while you are mitigating risk to some degree, you're also opening yourself up to a lot more things happening as well, right? And so we can focus on the quality of the deal versus the quantity of the deal.
Margin of safety, man. Margin of safety. How many times you've been surprised by some, gotcha. Well, good thing I had that margin of
For
safety.
sure. For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. The investor fatigue is real, man. Cause again, um, 2020 and 2021 were wild, just wild. If you weren't doing deals off market, you weren't getting any deals. And a lot of people came to real estate investing in 2020 and 2021. And if you follow what you and I talk about doing great deals, they didn't do any deals, even if they did the work. I don't know if you've heard me say this, but in 2020,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote 100 offers, 100 got 2 counters, 0 deals.
What?
Out of these are MLS. I still did
Wow.
deals off market, but I
Wow.
tracked my on because again, my whole story, right? Read my book, One Rental at a Time. My
Mm-hmm.
entire story minus one deal out of the MLS. I still do it. I got 2 deals done between November and December of last year off the MLS. It's what I do. It's just I've been doing it for 22 years. But in 2020, I wrote 100 offers, got 2 counters, and 0 deals.
Mm.
Most people would have given up by deal 25, certainly by
Oh,
deal
for
50.
sure. For sure.
I'm like, nope, just keep going because I know the success, right? Um, but yeah, there's a lot of people that started that even if they're doing the work, it's tough. I want to tell them 2022 is different.
Yeah,
If you
I would
follow
agree
my
with that.
channel,
I would
yeah,
agree
if you
with that for sure.
yeah, I got 2 deals out of the MLS for 30% off list price. One in November, one in December last year.
Yeah.
Out of the MLS, listed for weeks. Anybody could have found them. I've already flipped one just to prove I could. Made 40 grand, 38,000 bucks. The other one should go in the next couple of days. But I want people to realize.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mike, about the MLS, because I tell people all the time, myself, many of our students, they buy all their deals on the MLS. It's not about finding a good deal on the MLS. It's about making a great deal off the MLS.
Making. Exactly.
Right. So I bought 7 deals on the MLS the last 7 periods of last year. I think it was about 60 something units in total, small
Nice.
multi and some medium sized multi. But I got all of them at deep discounts. I mean, like $860,000 building for 640, right?
Yeah.
Like 20-30% discount, similar to yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you just got to be bold enough to understand what you know to be a great deal and make
Yeah.
that offer.
Write the offer at a great deal. So let me ask you this. So you got 7 deals in the last year or so. How
Mm-hmm.
many units? How many units?
I think it was about 60, somewhere around 60. It was
So
like,
60 units. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
But how many offers did you write?
Now this is what's interesting, and most people are not going to believe this. In my market, based on the way in which we position our offers when we make them, I get about 1 every 4 deals accepted.
Wow. Now, is that when I just want to make sure I understand all of it. So you're writing 4 offers. Your numbers say you'll get 1 deal out of those 4.
For sure.
Now that's writing an offer. Now, is part of your process, hey, I want to take their temperature. I want to have a conversation up front. So is there some legwork up front, or your first engagement's a 30% below market offer?
Yeah, first engagement is typically 30% below market, but it's because, right, and I'm gonna get this as a freebie to the viewers. My agent and I have crafted a credibility email. Okay. And so when we position our email, I've gotten deals where I was probably 10-15% under my competition.
Sure.
However, because of my credibility email and they know that we close, it puts me ahead of them because sellers don't want to go back and forth, especially on these multi deals where due diligence could span out 60 plus days. They don't want to waste their time with it. So that helps me leapfrog those other individuals just by how we pre-frame our offers when they come over.
Yeah, so that's really key. I call it a credibility package. You call it a credibility email. Basically, you're documenting you're a serious buyer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're doing. You have a track record, and you could check me out here, here, and here. I'm guessing that's kind of what's
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
Whereas everybody's floating around with POFs and you know what I mean? Like
they're not worth the paper they're
the
written
jig
on.
is up. Like the jig is up. Everybody knows now.
Oh, that's funny. So let's wrap up this first section. These are awesome. We're going to do a couple more. If you have somebody out there, let's just assume they're doing the work. Let's assume they've been doing work for 9 months, and they don't have a deal yet. Why don't you close out with your message to them, and I'll finish up after you. What do you want to tell them?
I'll say this: we had one of our students. It took him 11 months to get his first deal. Okay. He had several of them fall off. He was putting in offers every single month. And not only that, he was cheering everybody on in the absence of what he would call his success. Nice. After he got his first deal 11 months in, he got 5 more in 90 days. Keep doing the work. I promise you, you build a momentum that you have no idea that you're creating, and you're going to be able to ride that as long as you don't stop.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a friend of mine who has been trying to get into the storage game for 3 years. He spent over 100 grand on due diligence because he's had a couple of things locked up and they just didn't work. But he's lost, or I don't know, invested 100 grand in trying to get something done. He finally got one done around Thanksgiving, I think the first part of December, and he's closed 3 cents. It sometimes goes that way. And he's been doing that for 2 years. I don't think I said that. So he had 2 years and 100 grand in out of pocket expenses trying to get this done. But once he got them, I think he's up to like 800 units or I don't know what they count, whatever.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's awesome to see. So what I would tell someone is don't confuse the situation. A deal is nice, but I don't promise deals because there's other parties involved. What I'm trying to educate and teach you and talk you to is writing that first great offer. So if you've written one great offer or 5 great offers or 12 great offers, you should celebrate that. Most people don't. But I want to tell you, that is the lesson. That is the moment where you become a good investor, is writing great offers. After that, out of your control. Can't control the seller, can't control inspections, can't control lending products, all of those things. But you control and own the process up to writing a great offer. So change your celebration. Most people that have been doing this 9 months and not having a deal aren't celebrating the fact that they've probably written 6 great offers. So that's celebrate right. That. That's what I would tell them. Brian, where can people find you? Because you're doing amazing stuff on out-of-state investing. You did a deep dive on my channel for them. Where can they find you?
They can find me at Brian Adamson Official on Instagram and show up in my YouTube. We've been putting a lot more content on YouTube, Brian Adamson Real Estate, nice. Trying to follow after my great friend Mike and put out more content on YouTube. So we've been a lot more intentional about it. Go soak it up. That'd be a great place to connect.
Yes. Thanks, Brian. Take care. We'll get into topic number 2 in a minute.
Yes, sir.